Hiyo, it's me, Nicole Phoenix Star, and this is the Nick Star podcast. I was having this funny conversation with my daughter earlier, and I said to her, "So, what should I talk about on the podcast this week?" And she said, "Apples." And I was like, "Okay." And then she said, "And expand into like the routines and stuff, because we have this thing every single day called Apple O'Clock. And around 3 o'clock every day, Leo and I have an apple and either half a protein bar, or sometimes instead of half a protein bar, I have a teaspoon of almond butter as part of my afternoon snack." And Leo has, been having the same for a long time. He is a very committed, self-assigned vegetarian. And now that he is entering the early stages of puberty, I've been very focused on his macros and nutrition to support his hormones at this time, which we've been doing a very good job of. Because, hormones aren't just things for menopausal and menopausal women, or pregnant women, or women in a menstrual cycle, or a pubescent young girl, but clearly pubescent young boys as well. And, everyone has different hormonal stages in their lives, and we can support those via diet very, very well. And so, we have apples for fiber and carbohydrates, and with the protein bar or nut butter, there is protein, obviously, and fats in there, which add to our macros to have a super nutritionally balanced day to feed and support our unique hormone requirements. I got some incredible news, actually, a couple of days ago from one of the ladies that did the wellness journey with me, that has been extraordinary to work with, because she loves data, and so she collects a lot, and she's had a lot of health crises in her life, and she has had to do a lot of testing, and she does a lot of personal testing and stuff to be able to manage that. And so she has been getting a lot of comparisons of late. And for the first time possibly in her life, she has balanced hormones, and she is perimenopausal. And like I said, she's had a lot of health crises and has been on a lot of medication for a long time. Heart medication, thyroid medication, all these other medications to be able to support all of those things, and different kind of contradictions in her health. And she has been able to significantly reduce, and a couple of medications completely cease. And her hormones were outrageous in the testing from last year, and they're balanced. It's extraordinary. It's so thrilling and so exciting. And she has been able to recognize patterns in her weight loss journey because, she'll message me and say, I'm haven't not losing. I'm only losing like slightly and I'm bouncing all around. And I said, that's a brilliant sign. I said, and it's quite often the time that lots of people give up. But whenever we are on a consistent weight release journey, when our body needs to adjust its metabolism to a lower weight, we tend to plateau for quite a while until the metabolism adjusts, and then there'll be a consistent release, especially if you are counting your calories, eating like your macros balanced, and continuing to fill yourself with lots of nutrients, which she has. And yeah, she sent me this report of her plateaus and her losses and her plateaus and her losses and her plateaus and her losses, and they are extremely consistent. And she totally gets now that whenever she's in a plateau, that's a very exciting time because her metabolism is adjusting to her lower weight, and that's finally locked in. So yeah, it was such a beautiful experience to see all these reports and all of this information about years and years and years of chaotic health, and how from doing exactly as I said and following my formula exactly, how she's getting the most extraordinary results. And that is allowing her to get off or lower so much medication and to release weight. She hasn't been able to budge for years, and to be able to have a completely different experience and to be so committed and to be continuing. She's doing amazing, and that's the thing. And they're like, anyone who does as I say always has extraordinary results. And, that's the thing about routines and consistency and rituals, is to be able to create the consistency that allows the shifts to happen continually, because, so many people just give up. And this is the long game, although it does happen really quickly. Like, we started mid-January and, it's the first week of April and she's had extraordinary results, and like extraordinary, like beyond extraordinary. It can happen really quickly, but people get fixated on the day-to-day, week-to-week thing. But weeks to weeks, months to months, profound. And that, that was my experience. And yeah. So, there's been times when she's had to start work early and, kind of making breakfast and stuff hasn't been a fit. So she comes to me and says, okay, so this is the idea I have to make like kind of pre-made breakfasts, and is that following the formula? And we just have this conversation around how to be able to kind of fit that in and to make that work for her. And it's been lots and lots of fun watching her kind of work exactly with the formula and shifting it around when she's needed to because of life, and has done an extraordinary job. The having routines creates so much consistency, and I don't know, it's people like always think, don't you get sick of, the same food or whatever? It's like, No, not at all. Like I mix it up more than you could ever imagine. And, there's never a day where I sit there and go, oh, what am I going to eat now? Or got nothing. It really is such a supportive way of living life. And, um, you know, meal prep is really such a supportive, helpful, kind thing to do. Um, and, I find myself kind of having a semi-meal prep thing going on for Leo these days, just out of consequence of, you know, being in the habit of that and doing it. So I cannot express how supportive it is and makes life so much easier if you meal plan, meal prep, and really look at having a balanced diet. Like, you're going to eat anyway. Just invest a little bit of time and effort, and it's not much. And it'll make you feel so different and so much better. And there is nothing like living a life where your hormones are balanced, because hormones are the things that are so subjective to mood and energy and, kind of sleep, all of the things. Um, and everyone's in their different season of life. It's taking a little time, taking a little care. It's life changing to be able to nourish yourself. It's a level of self care that you never even knew that you needed. Self care through nourishment is something that touches you in every arena of your life. And, we eat every day. We go shopping regularly for food, and we make choices around eating out or getting takeaway and all of that. It makes such a difference. And, you can eat yummy things, and there's no reason why you can't have all the things you like and all the treats and all of that. It's not about restriction at all. And people don't kind of get that. It's the greatest miseducation of the human race. It's if only we taught people about nourishment and how to feed themselves. So much sickness would be eradicated. So much energy would be different. Sleep, everything, mental health. Oh my God. Absolute game changer. It just, I don't know, it's extraordinary to me. Anyway, so yeah, and really, an apple a day does keep a doctor away. And it's funny, I only ever used to like green apples when I was younger, and I used to find fruit quite challenging because they weren't consistent enough. Yeah, but I now know how to pick the perfect apple, and it's fascinating how many calories and how many carbs are in fruit. Until you start educating yourself, you really don't know. But again, if you put an apple on a plate, or, a quarter of a piece of cake, the macros, the carbs could be the same. And even the calories could be the same. but the nutrients are very, very, very different. But you could have some of the cake with the apple. The other thing is, like, one of the reasons we put a protein bar or nut butter with the apple is to balance out the glucose spike potential, especially hormonally and different times of day and different people in different seasons. Like, there's all these factors. But again, it's not difficult if you just follow a basic formula. I really got to create a document around this and just put it out there. That would be helpful for sure. Anyway, I am going to finish up there today. And yeah, the greatest form of self-love and self-care is showing up for yourself in something that you do every day, multiple times a day, nourishing yourself. And, finding out what your carbs and your protein and your fats are for the season of your life. And just working with that, you will sleep better. Your mental health will be more balanced. You will have more energy, and you will experience life in a completely different way than just eating whatever food. Because most people, especially those that think they're eating healthy, don't have the macros balanced. And it shocks them because it did me, when you have just those little tweaks. Completely different reality, completely different experience. Life is so, so different. Yeah, nutrition. Extraordinary how most people have very limited knowledge about it, and how it's not taught at school in this capacity. I don't know, it's very fascinating how this information has, I don't know, it's so fascinating seeing such a healthy kind of seeing these days. The younger people, like, have worked out macros and movement and stuff like that, and have been able to sculpt their bodies around that. And it's really easy because they just follow a formula. And it's huge. It's so huge. And as, kind of we develop as humans, we've gotten to this point where, the science has created this, like, very easy way to work it out and follow it. But again, it hasn't got specific enough for the difference between men and women in different seasons of their life, because it is very, very, very different. Like, most nutrition for health has been done for eons on athletic 20-something-year-old men, and tried to apply that to women, and they never ever got the same results. I mean, it's very, very obvious that very, very different. But now that, the studies are being done and hormones are being really factored into this, for how these movements of different ages of being able to find healthy results, like, yeah, it's so funny how the algorithms bring you to you too. Like, there are so many, like, sculpted 50+ women on my social media feeds, and again, they're all doing the same thing. And, we eat a lot. And it's not like a lot, but there's no restriction, there's no starvation. There's a lot there. Yeah, it's extraordinary. Extraordinary. So all I'm trying to do today is get you to consider nourishment and nutrition while still being able to eat yummy things, and how extraordinarily profound that impact can have on you. It's really extraordinary. All right, I'm going to finish up there. Thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful. My website is www.nickstar.com, NIKSTAR.